You are surrounded by some beautiful things in Longleat House. A lot of the furniture is extremely old and very valuable, and all of it is in the most wonderful condition. That doesn't happen by accident. There is a continuous programme of furniture restoration. Even today, upstairs, there's a woodcarver working. He's called Bill Titley. He's been hired to restore an ornate Italian table from Lady Bath's apartments. It's 250 years old, and its overhaul has been long overdue. During his 30-year career, Bill's had many prestigious clients, but this is his first time at Longleat.
The things I'm doing here, they're little the droplets, and they go all the way around here. There's 15 of them, and they'll have one there, and there's one there and one there, sort of thing. This one is one that I've recarved. This is a new one, and that'll go in as well. Well, it's hard to see the table because it's upside down for a start, but these panels, there's hundreds of tiny little pieces. There's flowers missing, petals, drops. There's all kinds of pieces in here, which I've managed to get back in.
Bill's work is part of a larger restoration project on the table, overseen by the house steward Ken Windus, who heard about him from another craftsman working in the house.
To be able to do it, to do this fine sort of work, you appreciate what sort of how ornate it is. You've seen it yourself. It's difficult to actually, in the first instance, to be able to think is this man going to be able to handle this? But for some reason, when when I first spoke to Bill, I could sense that he was the man for the job, apart from his prices.
So you cannot rush it at all. It's just taking it in its own time, really. But I actually think it's mostly about 5 weeks solid work. Head down. But after a while, you get into the spirit of the thing. It's more of a spirit. You have to really get into the mood of the carver who carves it in the first place, really. And that soon comes. You can tell a good carver from a bad one, and So it's like working with a bunch of ghosts, really.
Not surprisingly, Bill's passionate about wood carving. He's hoping to take on one of his sons as an apprentice so he can pass on his knowledge. But he's pessimistic about the survivals of skills like his.
The apprenticeships when I was a kid, it was 7 years. That's before you really got any proper pay. And then the money was never any good. And apprentices these days, they don't want to spend 7 years or something, with no money. And not even know if there'd be work at the end of it, And there's thousands of carvers at one point. Now there's very few. It is a dying trade, really.
Bill's work is nearly done. Once he's finished, it will be regilded by another craftsman. Although French in style, the table was made in northern Italy at the end of the 18th century. Originally, it would have taken several carvers up to a year to construct. Some of the damage that Bill's repaired probably occurred during its transportation to the house just after it was bought. But it's still in daily use in the Bath's private dining room as a coffee table. Today, Ken Windus comes to see how Bill's done. Ken, who originally came to Longleat as a joiner, has a special interest in this job. He did some of the initial preparation work himself.
Okay, brilliant. That's brilliant, Bill.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You have a look at the legs.
Feet as well.
See what I've done there? There's a point, you can't cut back too much into it, otherwise, you It would just collapse, really.
Yeah. Right, I think what I'll do, Bill, is before I get the gilders in, I'll bring Lady Bath up here and let her see this, just as you've left it, so to speak. Because I think she'll appreciate the beauty of that, I'm sure she will. Brilliant. Okay, so you're pretty well together on it now, then?
Yeah, I think it's near enough.
Lady Bath has extremely high standards. What will she make of Bill's many hours of work when she inspects the table later in the programme? Back to the house, and that ornate Italian table which carver Bill Titley was restoring earlier on. The house steward, Ken, is so pleased with Bill that he wants Lady Bath to see it before the table is regilded. She's a lady with a critical eye, so will she like it?
All that is not gilded is his work, isn't
That's
it?
right, mate.
Remind me his Christian name,
Bill.
Bill.
Bill, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. He's a real craftsman, isn't he?
He certainly is, yeah.
Is that?
Each one of these are loose because it needs to be gilded as yet.
Take one out?
So there we are. You can see what he's
Right.
actually done.
Yeah, it is beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
It's quite amazing that you find people who do that nowadays.
That's right.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And he's kept within the price range, you
Yes,
said.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
He did, yeah. I mean, he quoted a price and that's
Yeah.
what he kept to.
He did?
Yeah.
How long did it take to do it?
Oh, he's on it weeks. On it,
Was
it's
he? Where did he
literally.
work here? Up here?
Yeah, he's here
Was he
all the
working
time.
up here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he must have been on it at least, I would say, 6 weeks. I wouldn't like to see it used as often, perhaps, as you used to use it.
But how are you going to do that?
Well, I know it is difficult, but the thing is, because it is, although this resin
But
has,
mind you, yeah, go ahead.
I say the resin has consolidated it, but it's still, the wood is literally impregnated with little holes,
Yes, I see what you
right?
mean.
Which means it's almost like a biscuit. And this is
Yeah,
what I say, it's very, very
challenging.
fragile and very
Yeah,
brittle,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
with the weight that you've got on top of it.
This is what worries me. Love to keep that marble off, but you can't because you kill the whole
Well, that's right.
thing. Could we put fake marble made of pure plastic? No, you can't do that,
No,
can
it's
you?
not something. You know, I think providing it's realised by staff how fragile it is.
You missed out this, Ken.
Well, it's not necessarily missed. You see, that's an old repair there.
Yeah, but why hasn't he bettered it a bit?
Well, because if you, I mean, when you've got an antique piece of furniture, my lady,
Yeah.
an old repair is as important as the actual table. I mean, you could have sort of said, well, let's do away with the leg and put
Yeah.
a new leg on, but that wouldn't be restoration. That would be simply the replacement.
Well, I guess I'm learning as I go along. I didn't know this, you see. I thought you had to make it perfect.
No, I mean, it's fatal really to make it perfect.
Without, yes, I know what you mean, yeah. But there's plenty of imperfections in it. It's like a woman, you know, when you try a facelift.
Well,
I just look at the eyes as well, they're all done
I'm
job.
not going to comment on that. I'll get into trouble.
With who?
Next, the table will spend a couple of weeks with the gilders. Then it will be back to its former glory and ready for Lady Bath's coffee pots. A few hundred yards away, inside Longleat House, there's more skill work going on. Furniture restoration is one of the major tasks here. Take this 200-year-old Italian table. Replacement pieces have been carved to match exactly those that had been missing for decades. The process of restoration is to leave the imperfections of age and never to make things look as good as new. With the newly carved pieces in place, the next chapter in the table's story can begin.
My name's Annabelle Giltzoff. I'm a gilder, and this is my first job here in Longleat. And since I've been here doing it, I've learnt that I'm sort of the last in a line of people that have been working, putting this table back together. I'm laying the gold leaf now onto the areas I've prepared, and it's the best gold that you can get. And it's as pure as you can get, 23 3/4 carat gold. How it works is gold's attracted to moisture, and you have to wet the area you want to lay the gold, because the gold comes off the tip and then is attracted by the moisture. And you leave it then, and once you burnish it on together, it becomes very firmly fixed.
Burnishing is the next process once Annabelle has finished laying in the gold. Two days later, we went back to see how she was getting on.
I've laid the gold and it's rested for sort of 24 hours, and now I'm burnishing it. This is a burnishing tool.
What's that made of?
Agate. So it's quite hard and it's smooth. And you just gently rub the surface.
And what's the effect of the burnishing? Why do you do that?
Well, it bonds the gold to the surface more securely. And if you have a flat area, you can really burnish with a bigger burnisher than this, and you can burnish very hard and get a lot of brilliance on the gold.
And then it's a matter of just effectively painting on the dirt, is it? The dirt of generations being instantly applied.
Well, the aim is to make it look as if I haven't been here, so it doesn't stay looking as bright as this. If it goes well, then you shouldn't be able to tell where I've been. The whole idea is it looks all original.
So having gone to all that trouble to make it look absolutely beautifully perfect, you then go to another load of trouble to make it look an old mess. I suppose the greatest compliment a visitor could pay you would be to walk past this when it's done and not even notice it's been touched.
Yep. That's what you aim to do. You aim to go home and no one know you've been there.
With the table finished, Ken Windus, the house steward, and I move it back into Lord and Lady Bath's dining room, where it can once again fulfil its principal function as a coffee table, surrounded by Lord Bath's own murals.
This is its resting place, is it, Ken?
This is it, yeah. Right, if you'd like to go down.
Yes, just a minute, I'm down now.
Okay. I'll turn around.
Your end's down.
Good.
Back against the wall.
So, back a bit further.
Yeah.
Listen.
There's so much delicate carving, you're almost frightened to touch it in case,
That's right.
in case bits of it come off.
Yeah.
And the lid? What's this? This is a bit of Italian marble or something, you think?
It is, yeah. Green marble.
It's marble all the way
If
through.
you put it down so that your fingers are clear.
Yes, I'm clear now.
And we can slide around, but mind the legs because they're very, very fragile. I need to equalise that. Okay.
Well, that looks lovely, doesn't it?
There we go.
How much of an improvement is it on what it looked like when she
100%,
started?
because there was only about 3 or 4 of these pieces actually left. So we've done something like about 10. We've actually replaced 10 of these.
Do you think Lady Bath will be pleased?
I'm sure she will. Yeah, I'm sure
Well,
she
shall
will.
we now put it to the use for which it's intended?
Yes. I'm afraid I can't offer you a cut, but...
There we are.
Lovely. That looks
Lord and
perfect.
Lady Bath's
Looks
coffee
perfect.
table.
His DNA test to see if he's related to Cheddar Man.
Welcome to Wolfson College in Oxford. And glad to say that we have got some results from the sample that we took a few weeks ago. And I'll try and explain what they are. So I know that Cheddar Man, that's the sequence that we got from the tooth, is right here. Is here. So we put him down there. So what we've done is run the same tests on you, and it turns out that your sequence is not the same as Cheddar Man's, but it's still in the same group, and it's down here, on this branch here. So that's you here. Now, we've had a look at some of the other people that we took samples.
At Longleat.
Yeah, at Longleat. And one of them actually is slightly closer to Cheddar Man than you are.
Oh.
I'm sure he won't mind. It's Cuthbert, your butler. And he's right in the middle there.
Cuthbert is Lord Bath's butler.
We have found your sequence before. Once we found from somewhere in North Wales near Bala. So there's somebody who has an identical sequence up there. And here's someone whose address you won't get, because this is a series done by the Home Office of convicted British criminals.
Oh.
And he's there.
Well, I shall be fascinated to meet him.
Yes.
I am tempted to ask if I can get to meet the criminal. I might be letting myself in for a lot of trouble.
I don't see why.
So, after all that, it turns out Lord Bath's not from the same genetic line as Cheddar Man. His butler's a closer relation, while he's from the same stock as a known criminal. Is he disappointed?
When I'd got the skeleton there, I would have loved to have said that's Grandpa, but I can't. But anyway, there's fascinating information in just seeing on the map where I do fit. Because I would rather like to sort of set up a club. It'll be the something number, special number that my route is signified by. And we've already got, if we can all meet and agree to join the club, 3 members.